There's always some really fascinating tech at pro races, but time trial stages are possibly the best of all, as riders look to maximise the aerodynamic performance of their bikes. Seeing as it's such a lovely day, we thought we'd take a stroll around the pits here at the Giro d'Italia and find out exactly what people are using, and in some cases, exactly why. So these are the giant Trinities of the giant ALPECIN team, and some really interesting things on these actually. So most of the team are opting for the Shimano C75 deep sections. They've actually only got one tri-spoke here from team sponsor Pro, and that's partly because a lot of the tri-spokes went to California, but then also because the guys actually do just prefer these. The tri-spokes apparently catch much more in crosswinds. In terms of chain rings, there's going to be a big spread here between a 53 to even a 56 with some of the bigger guys. And then elsewhere, the mechanics have done some really lovely touches, like all the Dura-Ace Di2 wires are routed internally, like you can just see tiny little bits poking out. 25mm tubs all round every race for these guys for aerodynamics. That's a fast looking bike, even standing still. The TINKOFF SAXO specialised SHIVs are really tricked out, particularly the ones of Alberto Contador and Roman Kreuziger. So the whole team are on Vision Metron wheels, the tri-spokes at the front and the discs at the back, except for Contador and Kreuziger, and they look suspiciously like they're running lightweight Autobahn discs on the back. Kreuziger also has got a very aerodynamic energy gel taped to his stem there. That's kind of cool actually to see that on there. This is a long TT, remember, this is 59 kilometers, so everyone is going to have to be really thinking about their fueling whilst they're racing. They'll all have energy gels. Kreuziger's gone as far as taping his to his bike. We haven't touched on water bottles yet. Now, they're using the Tax aerodynamic water bottles. Again, because it's such a long TT, everyone is going to have to be drinking plenty as well. Also on the specialised SHIV, a Team ASTANA. Now this is Fabio Aru's bike right next to me. And one thing I think you can see at a glance, actually, which is quite interesting, is Aru is using a really shallow Corima front wheel. Now, he's obviously a pretty skinny guy, and he's going to be really paranoid about having the front wheel blown out of his hands on a TT bike. Also interesting for reliability, which is pretty much paramount in his mind, is the fact that he's using mechanical Campagnolo Super Record as opposed to the EPS that most of the Campagnolo sponsored teams are using. Movistar running these Canyon SPEEDMAX CFs, one of the few teams on Campagnolo here at the Giro d'Italia, and because of that they get to use the Bora Ultra cranksets there. Not many people actually go for aero cranksets, but Campagnolo have. They also get to use the Look Keo blades, so they're also look significantly more aerodynamic than a standard pedal. Whether they are or not, I don't actually know the wind tunnel data from that. But then a few things that do jar a little bit. So because they're running Campagnolo EPS group sets, they've had to stick the battery somewhere. And unfortunately, they're on the down tube right there, attached just with Velcro. So the Scott Plasma of Orica GreenEDGE, very interesting what they've done with the Di2 bits. They've got the batteries and the transition box both bolted under the saddle up there, which is not especially neat, but ingenious solution, and it's certainly not going to slow them down up there. So Trek Speed Concept has got some very pro touches, like the way they've hidden the Shimano Di2 junction box right up there on the stem, but also some fairly non-pro touches, like an LED rear light. Now, it's a good idea. It's a message from Trek saying that rider safety is paramount. Not exactly important on a closed road TT, but very good message for you and I riding our bikes at home. Now, I've also can't help but notice that on the top tube of Fabio Fellino's bike, he's also got his pacing strategy, which I think gives a really fascinating insight. Ryder Hesjedal's Cannondale Slice RS is definitely worth a mention. He's had all the paintwork sanded off the frame, and that's added up to a weight saving of 300 grams, which is really quite remarkable, actually, when you think about it. So this is the MERIDA Warp TT. This one's actually the bike of our man Jan Polans, who you'll remember we checked out his road bike, which he then promptly went and won a stage on. So hopefully this will have similar good luck for Jan today. Di2, but with rotor cranks and Q-rings, relatively eccentric rings on Jan's bike. Also, they're running Fulcrum wheels and really quite deep 80mm section front wheel. Now, Fulcrum are actually the same as Campagnolo, but we haven't seen any of the Campagnolo sponsored teams running the 80s as yet, so we'll keep our eyes peeled. So that's a snapshot of the time trial bikes used here at the Giro d'Italia. Don't forget though that the actual winner of the Maglia Rosa at the end of the day is going to be the one with the best legs overall and not necessarily the fastest bike, although Fabio Aru and his bike here stand a pretty good chance. Now, with that in mind, thinking about the importance of how strong your legs are, why not check out GCN's training playlist, where we've got all our videos about tips and things. Just click up there to get through to that. Or to stay with more of a Giro d'Italia theme, you can get through to our Giro playlist just by clicking down there. Finally, before you go to either of those, just make sure you subscribe to GCN. Please do it for me. I've been standing in the rain all day.